What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Apex, the podcast. The boys are here, -1. We'll bring it up here in a second with what's going on with Peeps right now. But we are here, a brand new season, and we're going to go no guests today, just talk about Season 19 and bring up some of the new stuff around the new season, including the new Post Malone event, which just dropped today, and people are loving this LTM all the way around. I think the vibes right now in Apex are really high. Like, I even saw Dalton tweeting some positive things about Apex, which I haven't seen in a long, long time. We've got positivity out the ass in Season 19. We're feeling good. We're feeling great. E, how are you doing?
Feeling good. It's been fun. The new season. It hasn't been the most ideal start by any stretch of the imagination, but it's been good regardless. The changes have been interesting, and I think it's been playing out really well. I think ranked as a whole is significantly better, especially with the addition. I do think the addition of having the promotion games where you have to win a game has cut down on the amount of like zone healers, because you can't just like zone heal your way to like high levels, because you actually have to like win games. And so I do think that it is irritating when you don't make your promotion. And I did have the tragedy of literally having a win. First game of my promo, I had a win lined up. We were top 3, triple red armor. We're wiping everybody. There was probably like a rat and then like one team left, and we were literally just steamrolling. Like there was zero chance we were losing that game. But because I was about to hit Pred, and Freddy was like, he wasn't in his his diamond promos yet. And at the time they hadn't fixed the glitch of you not being able to play with anybody. And so I intentionally chalked that game. We died to zone 3rd place to make sure we didn't like win and then have a die like to like just make sure. And then I was like, oh, we lock it in easy. We got 4 other games. And then lost that promo, got back in it, lost that promo, got back in it. And then finally on game 7, because each time you fail your promo, they give you one more game. And so since I had failed my promo twice, I had 7 attempts at that bad boy. And on game 7, locked it in, got it. But that was a fun little learning moment. I learned that I don't regret it, but I would highly recommend that if you have one of your promos in the bag, just take it. Take it. Just lock it in, you know? Because I probably chalked like anywhere between like 1 to 2K LP just going through the placements and losing, and then placements, and then because like you don't get LP for any of those games. So like we had like good games. Like we would have really good games, but it's like, oh well, you don't win. It doesn't do anything. Yeah. And so but it was a good day overall. I mean, like it was a good week overall. It's been fun. The new season's been good. The grind, we're at it. We're doing a long haul grind. It's 105 days. And so just because the beginning of it wasn't super stellar doesn't mean that the middle and the end aren't going to be super fire. And so we're just going to keep on putting in that persistent grind. Probably won't be putting in as many hours as that man People, as we will be talking about, as he is going to be on a different level, because that man is... I don't think he'll be doing much else other than
grinding,
playing while he's awake. He's really going to be putting the time in. He's been seeing a lot of success numbers wise from his start of the season. He's had an immaculate start of the season. I feel like I believe the highest he's gotten to is number 2.
He's dropped to 4th right now.
Yeah, he's currently number 4. I believe Kimchi just passed him.
Yep, it just happened because he was 3rd when we were about to start.
Yeah, and but I'm sure he'll be getting that back. And he is only 2,400 basically away from number 1, which is currently Zainu. And so props to Zainu for absolutely just putting in the grind and being at number 1 at this point in the season. I'd like guess the season's early, but 52K at number 1 right now is pretty substantial. And even 50K, like 51 from Reptar, 49 1 from Kimchi. We got Peeps at number 4, and enemy number 5 is Watson number 6, who was number 1 for the first few days of the season until he decided to take a 2-day break. And then I guess his thing is he just gets number 1 and then takes and just loses the passion. Or at least that seems to be the Twitter synopsis from him himself. And synopsis probably was the wrong word there, but we're gonna keep on chugging. Assault at number 7, which I think is super exciting. He hasn't been grinding playing the game too much in the last few seasons. A former Fortnite pro, but he has held Pred before, and he's been having an immaculate start to his season. Very good player, and he's been grinding. Bear, no idea who Bear is. Could not tell you. I genuinely just do not know. There was like a guy who was Bear something who used to be a high level Pred on Xbox. I don't know if this is him or not. It could just be some random guy named Bear. People thought he might be cheating. I literally have no idea. I've ran into him, killed him multiple times. He doesn't like seem to be crazy, but I mean,
Let's
he's
just get him on
well,
the pod.
number
just
8.
Figure out who he is.
So just we'll start learning about Bear. We got Funkin' number 9, and to round out our top 10, we have that boy Mamba.
Yeah. So getting back to what Enoch was saying. So Weeps not on the show today, and we're just kind of gauging it to see. He obviously wants to grind for it, and when he did grind for it before, that's why we brought him on the show originally. And their first interview was because he was holding number 1 in one of the weirdest seasons that we had seen in a long time, with the first season not having like a split and all that. And he was just grinding heavy, and he was able to hold it, and it did really well for him. Ended up getting all of this different stuff and accolades from just getting that number 1. And it seemed like his Watson was going to go for it and hold it the whole season. But like you said, he kind of lost the passion after he hit the number 1. And after that, the floodgates opened. And I think a lot of other people saw opportunity. And Weeps was just sitting right there. He was just already at the top. He texted us, said, guys, I got to go for this. So we're going to be supporting him from afar, watching as he goes through this grind. Like I said, before we started this, he was at 3. But he's offline right now. Now he just dropped to 4. So he's going to have some ground to make up when he gets back up and into it.
To put it into perspective, like when Watson and Keon were 1 and 2, there was a time where Peeps was 3, which he's been grinding.
Yeah, so we'll be watching him from there, and then we'll keep you all updated on when he'll make some appearances back. We hope to at least hear from him a few more times during this this grind, just to get like his update and everything like that. But like I said, we'll keep you guys updated on that. But he is grinding heavy right now, trying to get that number 1. So we got to give him the Apex the Podcast boost here. Give him some love. Shout him out. Let's see if we can get him up to that number 1 spot, because he has been grinding for it. He works his ass off. He's the best. He is the man. So we're looking out for Weeps. Okay. My week. I'll get in my week real quick, and then we'll get into some Apex stuff. My week was really, really good. We are officially on Baby Watch. This is the week of the due date, so we're going to be keeping a close eye on that. It's going to be that's also kind of why no guest today. It's just going to be very stressful for me to try to edit while also trying to maintain that as well. Imagine me editing and the baby just pops right out. That'd be insane. Anyway, so that's going to be on my mind most of the week, but we do have some Apex to talk about here. Let's get into Season 19. And like I said, man, there has been a ton of positivity around this season as far as just what's been going on within the season. Obviously, we talked about most of the patch notes last week, the important parts, things that would translate to ranked and or competitive. But just overall, there has been just a much different feel to this season than in some of the seasons of the past. Seems like a lot of people who are typically down on the game have seemingly been up on the game. And for the people who are already positive, they're feeling even more positive. Enoch, I wanted to kind of go through your thoughts on some of the major things here. Kicking it off with the brand new legend. Obviously, I don't think she is a legend that a lot of people are using right now in high tier, high level ranked. But what are your thoughts? Have you had a chance to play her whatsoever?
Wait, you said you don't think she is?
I did not. That's what you guys told me last week. But I've been playing her, and I think she's hella good.
She's really good.
Okay,
really
okay,
fun,
that's what.
Really
there
strong.
we go.
Played a lot. You'll be seeing her in a lot of comps. Not all the comps. Like it's not hard meta by any stretch of the imagination. But I would say it is one of the stronger, but not like aggressively in your face about it legends we've seen released. I think it's probably been the cleanest release in terms of her being good, but not super OP. Um, the passive is super just a good quality of life, just being able to run around faster, especially if you're like split looting from your teammates. You get basically like an octane stem whenever you're outside of the queue of like your range, and so that boost is super fun. The ultimate is incredibly good for building fights and as well as late games, just being able to make certain areas unplayable. And those things they take 240, 250, some absurd amount of ammo, more than an R9 clip with no mag does, in order to kill these things. And so, and the overshield is, I believe, 150 worth of shield between her and one of her teammates who gets cracked. And so, it makes taking fights, you can be significantly more aggressive because when you get one of your teammates cracked, you can simply just use the Q, wait a little bit, which will be substantially faster than what a bat would take, and it'll be constantly healing them. And so this actually works really well with Bangalore's or Horizons as well, or just characters who have high survivability, because if they get hit to like flesh, you just throw the Q on. All they have to do is not die, and then they'll be able to get that armor back and be right back in the fight. And it can be a difference maker for sure. Overall, super fun legend. The movement is super clean when you play, and it's just overall huge W in my opinion. And somebody who you will see like 100% no doubt takes the spot for number one most fun support legend.
Yeah.
It's not even close. Just not even close. Like that spot is just hard locked on Conduit for the foreseeable future.
So that was the thing, was last week we were talking about it, and you and Weaves were both kind of like, I don't know, like those legends kind of, from reading it on paper, it didn't look super impressive, and we didn't really know a whole lot about what was going to go on. And a lot of times Apex will release a video where like they have either a content creator or a pro come out and they'll make a video explaining the breakdown of this legend. They had like very small videos about it, but it didn't really go too in depth. So we didn't really get to see exactly what was going on. And whenever you're playing in the, when they give you early access and stuff like that, I think the notion a lot of times is to say like, I think this could be good and stuff like that, but you don't really know because you haven't seen it out in the wild yet. She's really, really fun, I think, for people of all levels. Like you talk about how you're playing her in the higher ranks. For me, obviously much more casual, it was just fun from top to bottom. And I'm not typically a guy who goes into the firing ranges and messes around with the new legends. I play who I play. I like who I like. I've typically just played Lifeline and Ash for most of my time, with little other legends here and there. This legend was so fun that it made me go into the firing range and test out all of her different abilities because I was genuinely curious about how she worked and how I could use her in the most effective way possible while I was playing. And there are some like things that I learned for people who maybe haven't gotten to play her a whole lot or are just getting into her. One thing that I've seen a lot of conduits make mistakes on, you can only get regen on your shields for the first 8 seconds of the tactical. After that, the shield will still stay there, but it will not regen. And there's like a little noise you can hear as a conduit. I'm pretty sure you can hear it as a teammate of a conduit as well. I haven't been a teammate that's been hit by the conduit because I've always been playing the conduit, but I'm pretty sure there's some sort of sound cue that you can hear that will allow you to know when your regen is not going to go up anymore. So that's something to keep an eye on. There's also a little icon in the bottom left-hand corner next to your character that'll show the shield going up. Once it hits the top, that's the most you will be able to regen. Your teammate can regen an entire red shield in 8 seconds as long as they don't take a bullet. You can only go up 2.5 bars. So keep that in mind as well. You want to hit it to your guy who's obviously running down the gut, somebody who's in the fight, that type of legend. You don't want to be the one taking point. That should be apparent if you're a support legend, but it isn't always when, you're a casual, and I am one of those. So I had to learn that the hard way. But it really just is such a fun legend. I have a great time playing her. And actually, I was calling some of the guys from the other pod today, and I was like, I'm very interested to see what Enoch has to say about it, because I thought she was like very, very good, but I was genuinely curious to hear what you guys had to say. And I'm happy to see that you guys are like, damn, no, she's actually like a very good legend. That ultimate is insane, by the way. It lasts
So
a
good,
full
especially
minute.
in buildings. In buildings, it goes absolutely nuclear. It makes a building absolutely unpushable because it'll just spread out the entirety of all of the alt. Because like the ultimate itself, it takes up a very large area, and so for end games, it goes crazy. And then just for building fights, you have like 8 of these things that have 260 HP and shock you. Just you can't push it. It's so strong. Overall, huge W. But it's not like an oppressively
Yes.
like OP legend. It's just a legend who has such good utility, but not in an aggressive. I would say it's similar to Cat, but like not even as bad as Cat was. And I would say Cat is still super, super strong, but not nearly, or at least it's probably just the fact that we don't see as many. But yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's
that was
not
the
crazy.
thing. That was the thing I was telling my friends too. It feels like she's strong, but in a way that you're not thinking. It's not like Seer strong, like when Seer dropped, where you just felt like you were kind of getting cheated out of your games at times. It's like it's a fair strong where it's like everything has to be used correctly. The other thing I thought too is like if they really wanted to make her OP, like actually overpowered, I think every part of her kit is perfect. Like as far as like they have a solid basis to be made extremely strong if they really wanted to. I don't think not all legends have that same, like platform. You look at a Rampart, her passive is you get faster reloads on LMGs. Well, not everyone uses LMGs, and especially now, like a lot of people aren't running that weapon. Not the best platform for like a very strong legend, but all parts of her kit, you could buff each one and just be like, wow, this legend is insane if they wanted to. Obviously, they don't have to, but it kind of goes to just a completely well-rounded character in a lot of ways, and I'm very happy about it. I'm having a lot of fun with Conduit. Let's move on into the Storm Point aspect of this. I don't know where you stood before. I mean, obviously, we've always said Storm Point's probably the funnest to watch for ALGS. It wasn't my favorite map to play before this update because there was a lot of downtime, and it was like it just seemed like fights were too few and far between. Storm Point's my number one map right now. Maybe this is a little early, but I haven't had any issue with Storm Point so far. I like all the changes they made. I like all the POIs they added. They feel like they fit. The pink sky is cool. It looks nice. Everything feels good. I like the fact that they kind of destroyed Jurassic Park, dead set in the middle. And I also thought the one POI that they got rid of were just kind of, I forgot what it was called, but it just went straight down. There was nothing there. I felt like that was a waste of space, and they were able to make a much better POI for it. I'm loving Storm Point right now. How do you feel about the updated Storm Point?
Stormpoint, it's the updates are really good in my opinion. The POIs are fun to play. They can be a little bit annoying given how strong height can be on a good amount of them, just because of the way that the buildings are constructed. But overall, I think it's a huge W change. Overall, dude, I mean, you got to say that the season is. So like everybody talks about how like, oh, we're waiting, like this next season is going to be the season where like it starts getting good again, but like this is like the season where actually it's good again. Like so many, like is it perfect? Far from it. But have they made a tremendous amount of steps in the right direction? Absolutely. And the changes on Stormpoint are pretty good. Obviously it's not like game changing, but I do think it'll be exciting to see how it plays out once we get into competitive play.
Yeah, so those were the two major things from the season. Was there anything else that kind of surprised you? Something that was a little bit stronger than you thought, maybe something a little bit weaker than you thought, and something that people need to know about going into the season, whether it be a weapon, a legend, drop spot, whatever it may be. Anything that you kind of picked up that you weren't expecting to make as big of an impact as it did.
The 30 is still that gun. And the hipfire, yes, it's not what it used to be, but it is still mad strong. You'll see a lot of people using it. I mean, it's basically 30 Hemlock, Nemi. People have been suggesting that there was a silent buff to the flatline. And so if you're a flatline enjoyer and you haven't been using it in a while, it's just simply because it is outclassed by the burst ARs, because that's just the world we live in. The flatline, it does feel pretty clean. The recoil, something about it seems a little bit better. Give it a shot, see what you think. But yeah, in terms of other than that, I wouldn't say I haven't really been surprised by anything too much. I will say that Conduit is better than I expected. And so like that's been fun. That's been exciting.
Can I throw one at you?
Yeah, throw something.
The wingman not being on the ground, I didn't realize I didn't feel it. I felt like something was off. Like there was something off, and I couldn't put my finger on it.
I should have said something about it. I should have, because like that gun, it might be best care package gun ever. Because it is unbelievable, and especially the fact that it has a digi is just, oh man, it is so much fun using that gun. You are hitting 50 bodies, 95 headshots, and you get 110 ammo.
That's crazy,
so, dude. That's a whole game. That is a whole game. And all of the we did have a change to the care package where it is a guaranteed weapon every round, and so you're going to be seeing a lot more red weapons around, and the wingman's going to be one of them. And guys, if you're like, the wingman's not for me, I'm not a wingman user, you just got to pick it up.
They made the projectile bigger.
You just got to pick it up.
Yeah.
The projectile is bigger. It's just that gun is absurd.
So
Absolutely absurd.
For people who are like, I can't use the wingman for whatever reason, I just suck with it, whatever it may be. The projectile is bigger now. You might as well give it a shot at least a couple times. Like, it's a bigger projectile. It hits a lot harder. I mean, you hear it in game and you feel the fear. And it's the first time I felt like a legit fear for a weapon like that since probably like early Mastiff days. Like, and maybe RE45 from a few seasons ago. Like, you hear the gun, you're like, oh shit, I got to step back.
No, it's a comm. It's a comm for sure. I mean, you make sure that everybody, I mean, you don't really need a comment, but you comment because like everybody hears it, but you make sure everybody knows. You're like, they have a wingman.
Yeah.
And then so like, and then it also is like, if you ever die to somebody with a wingman, you always have like, oh, he just had a wingman, you know?
You always have that
like,
excuse in the back pocket.
It is just, dude, absurd.
Yeah. It does feel weird not having it on the ground for the first time ever. Like that, I was walking around. I feel like the loot is weird right, this season. I don't know what it is, but that could also be because they took the Volt and the R301 off the ground as well. You're basically taking like 3 major weapons off the ground. So that is a little odd. I just felt weird with the loot. And then I realized, I was like, oh, wait, the wingman. Like, it seems like whenever you're running around and looking for just something, if somebody's chasing you down early game, the wingman always seems to pop up on the ground. You're like, oh, shit, okay, I can maybe make something happen with this. Not having that there does feel a little bit sad at times, but I've always felt like it should have been a care package gun. It's very, very good. I enjoy seeing it when I have it. It's just, the flip side is not as fun. But I have felt that was the one thing that surprised me a little bit because I've always been an advocate of like, put the wingman in the package. Then it went in. I was like, damn, I kind of miss it. So that was my one thing that kind of surprised me from this season. But we talked about all the good things from the season so far with all the things they implemented with new legends and a new like map, basically a whole new map. We also got a very, very cool Post Malone collection event / LTM that just dropped that everyone seems to be playing right now that we have to mention because this thing is absolutely insane. The skins, I'll leave that up to your guys' imagination, whether you like them or you don't. But there are Post Malone skins. It also comes with like a little thing similar to the nodes event we had a few months back, where you kind of like got nodes from using a little node tracker, and you got free rewards from inside the game. There's like a flatline skin. There's some other stuff you can get. It's free. You can go get it, have some fun, play the mode, whatever it may be. But also this LTM, three strikes, you're out. You basically, it's just a nonstop war. You're just constantly fighting. So when you get downed in this game mode, you cannot be thirsted and you will not bleed out. Your teammates can also revive you way faster than they normally can. You get 3 chances as a squad to, you can die fully like the third time you're done, but you can die fully as a squad twice, and then the third time it's over. But you can just keep coming back. You come back with all of your weapons, all of your shields, all of that stuff. It is just a dogfight from start to finish. It's on the new Storm Point as well, which I think adds to it. This mode has been crazy. It's been fun watching. This might be the best. We were talking last week with Weeps about bringing in new LTMs, things you can add to this facet of the game to make it a little bit more interesting. You add the Post Malone element, you add this new LTM. They are really just going all out to the start of the season. Now, we do have a long season to go. It's still going to be, I think, 109 days until it's over. So let's see if we can sustain it through the rest. But Enoch, the start of the season's insane. I don't think you've been able to play the new LTM yet, but you've been able to watch some of it. What are your first impressions from this new LTM?
Yeah, I have not played it, but I have watched it, and it looks like it is a good time. I like it is so much of a good time that currently, as we speak, we have Daltouche, Taxi 2G, and Pooch 3 stacking an LTM. And there I don't think that we've seen a LTM that has been so much fun that people have wanted to legit like we're talking Daltouche 3 stacking and LTM type fun, people.
That's when you
Like,
know.
do you hear that?
That's when
We
you know.
got Daltouche 3 stacking and LTM.
Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind before you say, I'm not going to play that. Just keep it in mind. Just think about it real quick. It's definitely something to keep an eye on. And also, just like we said before, it's just cool that they're collabing with a big star. Post Malone, obviously huge. So very cool, very interesting. Let's see how much they sustain throughout season 19. I'm sure there's going to be some other tricks up their sleeve. I heard they accidentally released a lore POI that's supposed to be coming out on Storm Point, and they like reverted it back. So there's probably another POI coming to Storm Point later on, maybe not this season, maybe next season. But I saw something about that on Twitter. So lots more stuff coming. Hopefully, we will see. I kind of wanted to get into some stuff here for compositions in season 19. A lot of people playing ranked right now. The promotional matches seem to be a hit for everyone. A lot of people are enjoying it. Comps. We thought at the beginning, before the season dropped, that it was going to be the same can't see shit meta with Valkyrie. It's not Valkyrie. Bangalore, Catalyst, and Horizon. Are there any other comps? Are there any other legends that you can throw into a comp that you think would make for some good comps for people who are maybe trying to run a squad and see how high they can rank up?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say there's any hard set comps that you need to be running, and there's not like one comp that's substantially better than all of the other ones out there. But I will throw out a handful of legends that you will be seeing that basically you could put any combination of these legends and you will have a solid team and you'll be good to go. And I would say that would be Conduit, Horizon, Bangalore, Revenant, Bloodhound. And then if you want to get crazy with it, you could maybe throw Fuse in there. But I haven't seen nearly as many Fuses out there. But basically any combination of those legends and you'll be gaining. If you watch pretty much anybody on Twitch, it'll be any combination of those legends. For the most part. I mean, obviously you're gonna have a few people breaking the norm over here and there. But that any combination of those legends, and you are good to go. If I was gonna say that if there is a best one, I would lean towards Horizon Bang Conduit. I think that there is potential there, but it really is like you can pick any of them and you'll be good. So many people are good right now.
The Conduit with the Revenant can be insane at times.
100%.
It's
because
insane.
he has his shield, he has his overshield, so like he could get his like purple, he could get his purple armor full broken. He could get the Conduit shield tossed onto him. He could ult, and then he would have the ult and the Conduit shield to go through before he would have to bat.
It's insane.
It's just so much, and then if he gets a knock, he gets his ult rebat, and it's just the amount of survivability is rather large. Conduit Rev is definitely a duo that is menacing if they're playing it right. Because I will say it is interesting because whether or not Conduit is like I think it's a very interesting legend because the effectiveness of the legend is almost more dependent on your teammates' ability to play off of your Q more so than you actually doing anything skill diff crazy wise compared to other people. Because a lot of the times you'll have somebody who will get cracked and then the Conduit will use the Q and the person will use the Conduit Q to simply sit behind cover and hit their bat anyway. And it's like, okay, well, like, sure, we gave you the Q so you made sure you didn't die while you're hitting your bat, or you could have gotten aggressive, at least played off of the Conduit Q damage and then hit the bat. But
that's what I've seen a lot of like people you do in the Conduit is like they'll give it to a teammate and the teammate will just go to heal. It's like, well, I gave you this so you could go do something.
No, so that's why like when I'm like when I'm saucing my Q to somebody, I make sure I'm like, okay, like fight, like you're good, like I'm queuing you, fight, and then like so it's a very much a team oriented communication heavy legend in order to effectively utilize her to like the fullest extent.
Yeah, so it's very, very interesting. As far as weapons to use, you already mentioned the 30-30. We've already mentioned the wingman if you're able to get one. I'm sure most of the weapons are pretty much the same. And you mentioned the flatline a little bit. What are you typically running if you had like your perfect setup? What have you been running this season?
My ideal is because like it used to be that I would run the 30 or a wingman. And those were like the two things I'd run. And it's so sad because like I still will sometimes pick up sniper mags. Like if I see a gold sniper mag, I'll pick it up and I'll get like a little bit excited. I'm like, oh dude, this is gonna be awesome. And then I remember it's like, oh, and I just look at my inventory and drop it because it's like I'm not using this. Like what am I gonna use that for? Nothing. So I've been rocking the Hemlock and the 30. I mean the 30 is still my go-to. I got level 100 on it. The 39 I think is just the absolute go-to loadout, and that would be a dirty 30 along with an R99. I just call it 39 for short. I think that would by far be the strongest. Obviously, I think the Hemlock is better in the mid range, but doesn't really compete with the 30 at like range. But the Hemlock definitely has its moments. You'll see a little flat line here or there. The Nemesis, if somebody has a Kid 1, obviously, like people are still going to be using that. But yeah, my go-to has been Dirty 30 and then either like a car or a 9. And so, yeah, we can kind of lead mentioning the car. I had a nice little tweet because as I said, like the car and the 9, because like I'm using an SMG, it's going to be a car or 9, and there's no reason to really use a car if you have a 9 other than I would say that the car is better. No mag, like a no mag car is better than a no mag 9 because then the car has 19 bullets and the R9 has 17, and I believe that difference would I think the Gray Mag car might be better than the R9. I think it's a 1 bullet difference. I'm not 100% sure. But like basically there's no real reason if you have like any sort of attachments to use a car over a 9. And so I had this suggestion, I had the idea of like, oh, like why don't you make it a little bit different and throw the ability to have a barrel save, because all SMGs used to have barrel saves on them. Why not make it so that the car can have one, just so you can have a reason on why you would want to use it over a 9, and not just make it so that it's like inherently 100% better, because in this situation the R9 100% would still be better like up close, but it would give you a reason to use the car over it. And so I thought, hey, like give the car and a barrel save, please. And so it ended up doing numbers because everybody just wanted to shit talk me, because apparently because I thought that a gun should have an item to make it better and give you a reason to use it over the best SMG in the game right now means I'm bad with it. And there's just so many people saying skill issue or like you're bad, like just
unfollow.
And I was just like, what? Like I appreciate it. Like, thank you. Cause like the boost goes crazy from just all the shit posters. Like it's awesome. But
Yeah.
I don't understand. And it's funny because it exposes these people for just being just sad. Like how sad do you have to be to see a tweet like that and then instantly just make it negative? Like
they freaked out.
Like what was the point?
They literally freaked out. You tweeted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. You said barrel stabilizer on the car, please. And 167,000 views. And people were so mad that like there was just, it's crazy to me. It blows my mind.
It is so funny.
It's crazy. And like, that's the craziest part too, is like nobody even tried to like discuss the reason why they thought it was wrong. They just like didn't say anything. Like they didn't even, there was a few people who did offer like some actual good like solutions. Like some people were saying, what about a laser sight instead? I kind of feel like
the laser on it.
Yeah,
but I mean, like at that point, it's like, okay, so you're just gonna make it better than the like. Are you just gonna make it so that the car is the best SMG? Like, do you just want to make it so that it's better than the 9, 100% in every way, or do you want to like? I feel like the barrel save's cool because it's like, okay, it makes it so that it's better at that like that mid to far range, and it gives you a reason. And like, and the car's still good up close, but like, it just gives you a reason, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was in your same shoes a little while ago, not to that level, but I had brought up that I thought the car should get like a barrel stabilizer, and I got shit on the other pod because I don't know, I kind of felt the exact same way that you felt. I was just like, I feel like it just needs one more thing. Like just give it one more thing just to combat the 9. Because I think even if you gave the car the barrel stabilizer, I still think a lot of people would still run the 9. I think the 9 100%. Still has the easier recoil.
The 9 is still going to be
pattern.
the better gun in pretty much every circumstance.
It kind of just gives it one little step closer. So I agreed with it, and I didn't think it was going to. Every time you tweet, I always think, oh, okay, interesting, and then I come back to Twitter and it's like a fire has started. But yeah, definitely another Enoch take that people were very upset about.
Dude, it is fun.
You already tweeted 6 words.
I have a fun time. Yeah, I really do. It is so funny to just like sit there and then just like be an observer of everybody just react and just like the funny ways that they do.
Yeah, it definitely interesting. But like you, like 100%, I would like to hear what people think and give actual reasoning behind why they're thinking that way. Or I would love to see the comments on like the YouTube talking about like why it wouldn't make sense or why they think it would make sense, because it is an interesting concept just to throw one more thing down there. Yeah, I'd like to see what people think about it. With all that being said, ladies and gents, let's throw it on down to the heart to heart. Send you guys on the rest of your week. All right, ladies and gents, it is heart to heart time. Heart to heart time. Like we said earlier at the beginning of the episode, wasn't going to be as long as holy shit, I cannot talk today. It was not going to be as long as long of an episode as normal. I got it. There we go. Just because we have a lot of other things going on the rest of the week. Weeps, grinding it out, me, baby stuff, in a brand new season. But we'll give you something. Heart to heart time. Enoch, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You got that.
Bro, I straight up think I'm going to pass out when the baby's born. I honestly, I'm so afraid I'm going to pass out.
That's going to be really cool.
I think I'm going to pass out. That's been my whole thing this week. See, like my thing is I can't handle hearing loved ones be in like pain, you know, like when I was little and you hear your little cousins crying and stuff, it just like makes me like wince harder than I think than normal. I don't enjoy it. And she's going to be in the most like, what is it? Like this has to be the most intense natural human pain you can feel. Right. So I don't know, dude. People have been giving me tips and tricks. It's hard to listen to tips and tricks. I'm just going to be honest. It hasn't been easy to be listening to the tips and or the tricks. So that I'm fearful I'm going to pass out, but I'm just really praying for a healthy baby. That's all I care about at this point. And we'll see how it goes. But that is basically all I've been thinking about this whole week. Been looking up things on the internet. The internet's always right, so I should listen to them. So learning different things. I learned that you need to put your baby laying different directions each night so that their head doesn't compress you can't just lay them on the back all the time, I guess, because their head will just flatten in the back. They'll have like a weirdly, oddly shaped head. So didn't know that. Don't want them to have a weird skull. Want it to be circular.
Yeah, can't set them up for failure like that.
Yeah. Imagine just them people calling them weird skull at school. Don't want that. So that was something. Yeah, I'm trying to absorb all the info right now that I can really get. So that's basically my heart to heart this week is just dealing with all that. I'm also moving at the same time. I've already mentioned that before, but we finally got to see the new place. It looks so much better, and I'm very excited for that. I'm very blessed, actually. That should also be a heart to heart. I'm just blessed. Like I've been so lucky in so many ways. So I can't wait till we get the new place and we head in there. Should be a good old fashioned, good old fun time. Right in the like holidays too. Like this can be great. Very excited. That is my heart to heart this week. E, what about yourself?
Man, I would say that mine. I mean, I'm just gonna keep on talking about the thing that I'm talking. Like, literally, just trying to enjoy all of the moments for what they are, you know. And even the super frustrating ones, even the ones like, because like as I've been grinding and as I've been like having this goal of like, okay, I'm like putting in this like long grind and I'm doing this, and it definitely hasn't been like the ideal start, and being able to have the non-ideal start, but then still always like being in a place of joy through it. And I'm not gonna lie, there's a couple times I was playing today and I did not let my external circumstance not affect my internal state, and I got a little irritated at some rats, at some unfortunate circumstances. Bro, I swear there was like maybe like a 4 or 5 game streak where we did not take a fight, where somebody did not start off by getting ratted by like 3-man teams. And I mean, I'm just saying, I am not 100% on that yet, and I'm thankful that I get the opportunity to get as much practice as I do. And yeah, just I want to enjoy it as much as I can, because like if I can get to the place where I enjoy getting ratted on, then like I'm just fucking winning, and like you can't fucking touch me. Like if I get to the place where I can just be like complete joy no matter what, like you just can't, like you just win. You're just winning. And so it's something that I'm like, obviously I haven't been that way my entire life, right? Because I spent the majority of my life allowing the external to like completely dictate my internal. And so it's been fun to practice not doing that. and I know that eventually, like, it's hard right now at times, but eventually it's going to be my like default, and then it's just going to be easy. And so it's just, I got to get through the growing pains and stages, but like enjoying the process the entire way. And that's what I'm on. And because, like, obviously, like, I'm number 41 right now. Ideally, I would want to be where like Peeps and Enemy and all these guys are at. And, you know, just my games have not gone that way. But it's a long season. We got a long time, and I'm going to enjoy each step of it as much as I can, and we'll see where things go.
There we go, baby. Well, ladies and gents, next week we'll be back with another guest. This week was just a little hectic with all the stuff going on. We appreciate you guys for stopping by anyway. And other than that, that should just about do it. Don't forget to click the link down below. Follow along with all of our other social medias. Keep tabs on Weeps' grind to number 1. Keep tabs on Enoch's grind to get higher up in that top pred race. I think you're sitting at 44 right now, so you're still pretty high up there.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been terrible. Like, with all things said and done, like, obviously it's not terrible, but, you know, you always, I mean, ideally, if the goal is like we're striving for number 1, being in the 40s is not where you want to be.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a long season. It's a long time, and we'll see where things go.
Let me find where I'm at. Let me just figure out where I am.
Find you on the ranked ladder. See where we're at.
See where I'm at. Looks like. Oh, globally. Oh, we're all pretty close. Right now I'm 1,248,020. So we got Weeps at number 4, you at 44, and then me at 1,248,020. So we're doing great as a podcast.
The pod is well represented.
The podcast is well represented here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. As always, we'll catch you guys next week for another episode. See you.